The Philippines logs over 14,000 fresh cases, the second highest daily rise since the onset of the pandemic. Laguna will be under the strictest quarantine status for a longer period to slow down the surge in cases. The Health Department insists that officials have been transparent in spending amid corruption allegations. Transportation officials blame budget constraints for the failure of delivering billion pesos worth of plates. And a number of workers are seemingly willing to give up a part of their salaries to continue working remotely. Fast, focused, and fearless, here's a roundup of stories we're watching now. I'm Riza Diaz. The IATF extends the enhanced community quarantine status of Laguna until August 20 upon the recommendation of the Interior Department. Laguna was initially placed under ECQ until August 15, but was de-escalated to modified ECQ beginning August 16 until August 31st. This was until this present amendment of reverting to ECQ status. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque said the latest ECQ reclassification was made to slow down the surge in COVID-19 cases and to improve health system capacity in Laguna. Now, over in Muntinlupa, the city government has placed additional areas under lockdown. This is due to the alarming rise in COVID-19 cases. JC Cosico has the report.
Muntinlupa swabbing personnel visited this compound in Barangay Sukat. Mass testing is being conducted in Purok 3 Molera compound after 5 individuals tested positive for COVID-19. The area is now placed under 14-day extreme localized community quarantine until 6 p.m. of August 27. Police and barangay officials are securing the area where about 7 families or at least 20 individuals are forced to stay at home.
Ang pinapayagan lamang pong maaring lumabas ay ang mga apor o yung mga frontliner, pero hindi na po sila papayagang bumalik po sa compound.
Barangay Sukat has at least 100 active COVID-19 cases. Officials said infections continue to rise.
Sa panahon po ngayon, mas marami po ang nadadagdagan na report na marami pong positive. Ngayon po pa 5, 10, ganun po ang dagdag po araw-araw eh.
Over in Barangay Alabang, checkpoints were set up at the entry point of Purok 7 Beatriz Compound de Mesa, LNB Street, as it is also placed under lockdown. There are 10 active cases in the area where about 44 families are affected.
Magkakaibang bahay naman po yung nag-positive, kaya lang ang transmission ay per family. Siyempre po bago sila na-detect, nakalabas na po yung iba. Kaya medyo siguro po ang span ng transmission ay nagkaroon ng medyo napabilis.
Some residents living near the lockdown site are worried for their family's safety.
Kinakabang din.
Bakit po?
Smart na. Smart na ng rescue.
Malapit lang sa amin. Siyempre, nag-aalala rin ngayon.
Ang mga magulang lang po muna namin na lumalabas para sa amin at yung mga bata din na lang din po muna lumalabas.
The barangay has made it clear that no one from the area is allowed to go out in the meantime. To date, there are 5 communities under lockdown in Muntinlupa since Metro Manila was placed under enhanced community quarantine. The Muntinlupa City Health Office said more areas may follow suit depending on incidence rate and clustering of COVID-19 cases.
We are not limiting areas for lockdown, especially kung talagang ang taas ng cases nila, the clustering and yung vulnerables are exposed. We will have to execute or implement talaga mga lockdowns.
COVID-19 cases in Muntinlupa City is now over 16,000. About 7.8% are active cases. The city has also logged one Delta variant case and is now already recovered. But the LGU is not dismissing the possibility that the variant may be one of the reasons behind the increasing COVID-19 infections in the city. They note as well the location of the city as another possible reason for the surge in cases.
Muntinlupa is the gateway to all these LGU. So talagang pwede kami madaanan. So in the process, yung iba namin natetest dito might be Delta variants.
With this, the LGU reiterates its call to residents to follow minimum health standards as Metro Manila remains under ECQ. For News 5, JC Cosico, we are One News.
The Health Department warns of the alarming trend of COVID-19 infections in several parts of the country. In today's Laging Handa briefing, Undersecretary Maria Rosario Vergeres said the agency has already raised the alert levels of several areas due to the rising cases. Vergeres noted that 54 areas have been placed under Alert Level 4, while 39 areas are under Alert Level 3.
Ito pong pagtaas ng kaso ay nakikita po natin. Ang kailangan lang po natin gawin lahat ngayon ay patuloy na maghanda para po tayo ay maka-accommodate sa ating mga ospital. And most importantly, we have to cut the transmission in the community.
Vergeres, meanwhile, maintained that the Department of Health has been transparent about how it spent the country's COVID-19 response funds. Vergeres stressed that there is no corruption in the 67.3 billion funds flagged by the Commission on Audit.
COA has clarified this already yesterday na yung kanilang ginagawa ay procedural at hindi kailangang bahiran na may korupsyon agad ang aming kagawaran dahil nagsusumite pa ho tayo ng mga dokumento na kinakailangan for evidence that we have already utilized these funds.
The Health Department reports more than 14,000 new COVID-19 cases on Saturday. That brings the country's total caseload to over 1.7 million, with 98,000 infections considered as active. The virus killed 233 more patients overnight, pushing the death toll to over 30,000. Recoveries, meanwhile, surged to nearly 1.6 million, with more than 11,700 new survivors today. Out of those, over 52,600 tested for today's DOTr bulletin, 24.9% rendered positive results. The DOTr research group, meanwhile, reported that Navotas had the highest weekly COVID-19 cases among LGUs. From August 7 to 13, Navotas recorded the highest average daily attack rate. This is followed by Tuguegarao City, Mariveles in Bataan, Makati, and Santa Rosa, Laguna. The MMDA refutes a news report claiming that all NCR mayors extend or agreed to extend the enhanced community quarantine until August 30. In a statement, MMDA Chairman Benhar Abalos said there was no meeting among Metro mayors that occurred regarding the matter. He added the mayors are currently focused on monitoring the COVID-19 numbers, vaccination rollout, and ayuda distribution on their respective jurisdictions. The ECQ in Metro Manila will last until August 20. A large percentage of Americans are said to be willing to give up a part of their salaries to continue working from home. So how do companies feel about this possible move? Let's watch this.
A new nationwide poll shows many Americans are willing to take pay cuts, give up days off, or even put in more hours to be able to continue working remotely. An online survey conducted by Breeze Insurance found 65% of workers who said their jobs can be done entirely at home were willing to take a pay cut to stick with remote work. We've got Bloomberg personal finance editor Lisa Fleischer here with us to discuss the findings. Lisa, welcome to Quick Take. Tell me, what was the most surprising thing that you found from this data?
Thank you so much for having me. The most surprising thing I found was that 65% of people were willing to take a 5% pay cut to continue to work remotely if their job affords them that luxury. But then once they started to get into the higher realms, 10%, 25%, whatnot, people quickly were like, that's not worth it to me. I think if you start to do the mental math and just think about how much money people have been saving on their commute, that might actually make sense. Like if you do the trade-off for how much you're saving on gas or tolls or parking or your subway pass and all these different things that add up, sometimes to thousands of dollars a year or hundreds of dollars a month or more, it might make sense for you to say, look, I'll just give that up for a 5% pay cut. Of course, the survey did not ask how much more should you get paid to work from home. So we didn't hear that.
I do want to get the CEO perspective here because I'm so curious what the CEOs who are really pushing for people to come back into the office would be willing to do to get people to come back in. Have you gotten any responses from executives and leaders about where they're at with the work from home debate?
So I have personally spoken with a couple of CEOs who really want people back in the office, and they're willing to lose some workers who are not willing to come back. And I think they're predicting that that's just going to be a trade-off, that they're willing to, lose some talent if necessary to get people back in the office to where they feel that they need to be. I don't know. I mean, I think that it's going to be very dependent on the company. What we see in banking, for example, is Citibank, I believe, has a bit more of a relaxed policy about working from home, and in fact uses it as a competitive advantage to retain talent, whereas some of the other big banks, Goldman, whatnot, want their workers back in the office. But look, we're seeing pullback on this. So we had seen a lot of companies aiming for a September return to work. I feel like it was last winter or something. A lot of companies were like, don't worry about it. We're not going back into the office until September.
Just and now with Delta,
Right. And I was even thinking over the summer, like a lot of people probably could get back in the office. People were saying, I'm a little bit bored of being from home. But now with Delta, companies are really rethinking that. And you see just recently, Amazon, Apple, a lot of very big companies are saying, we're going to pull this back.
Now let's take a quick look at the other top stories. The Transportation Department blamed the budget constraints of the Land Transportation Office for the failure of delivering plates worth 2.1 billion pesos. Transportation Secretary Art Tugade explained that LTO needs to request its budget allocation first from the national government before addressing all of its programs. State auditors reported that over 8 million vehicle plates were not delivered from 2014 to 2020. A magnitude 5.3 earthquake struck waters off Davao Oriental this morning. PHIVOX reported the quake hit 175 kilometers south, 56 degrees east of Governor Generoso at 9:27 in the morning. Before that, a magnitude 5.7 earthquake rocked Calatagan, Batangas, and nearby areas at around 11 p.m. last night. PHIVOX said this is an aftershock of the magnitude 6.6 quake that shook same area on July 24. And esports has entered the Philippine collegiate scene through the creation of the College Center for Sports. It has plotted an official 5-on-5 Mobile Legends Bang Bang Varsity Cup to start on October. Now, the games can be streamed online through the entertainment channel Com Network. And for more updates, visit News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World Online. You may also visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on Signal Play app. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Riza Diaz. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.